They uncovered the hidden secrets of Job's story that will shock you beyond belief. Few knew what truly happened that night. Was it a test of faith, or a cruel joke played by the heavens? Job, a man of immense wealth and deep devotion, had everything. Fields of golden grain, flocks of sheep grazing peacefully, and a family that filled his heart with joy. But all that changed in an instant. The winds howled like angry spirits as disaster struck. One after another, calamities ripped through his life. His cattle were seized, his servants fell to the sword, and a storm carried away the very children he cherished. Each loss hit like a thunderclap, echoing through the silence that followed. Shock rippled through the community. Whispers filled the air. What had Job done to deserve such wrath? As he sat in ashes, scraping his skin with broken pottery, a deep question lingered in the air. Was there no one to stand by him? His friends arrived, their faces shadowed with disbelief, their eyes wide with horror. "Surely, you've sinned," they declared. But was it true? The air crackled with tension as they debated. Faith and doubt clashed like titans. In that moment, the universe seemed to hold its breath. What lay behind this suffering? Was Job merely a pawn in a cosmic game? Or was there a nobler truth hidden beneath layers of grief and despair? The very fabric of his life, once bright and vibrant, now lay torn and ragged. A powerful force loomed. And in a heartbeat, the question remained: could faith withstand such trials? What awaited Job in the shadows of his own heart? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of despair, Job remained ensconced in his sorrow, a figure of bewilderment amidst a landscape of ashes. He felt the weight of the world pressing down upon him, a burden heavier than the sorrow that enveloped his heart. His friends sat in silence, their own minds battling the tempest of what they had witnessed, yet they could not fathom the depths of his despair. 3 of them, men he had called friends, ventured near, their voices low but filled with urgency. Eliphaz, the eldest, spoke first. In visions of the night, when deep sleep falls upon men, the wisdom of the ages is revealed. I beseech you, Job, seek within yourself. What wrongs have you hidden? Where is your contrition? Job looked upon him with eyes that held not anger but a profound sadness. To look within is to find only echoes of the life I once led. I have maintained my integrity and walked justly before God. But what has come upon me stands as a testament against my cries of righteousness. Bildad, the second of his friends, leaned in, a frown etched on his brow. Have the ancients not taught us? Those who sow iniquity reap its harvest. Perhaps your heart has strayed when no one watched, and the Almighty has turned his face away. Job's heart felt like a tempest, battered by their accusations. My heart has sought justice, not to glorify myself but to uphold the truth. I do not understand why this has befallen me, nor should it be misinterpreted as a punishment for secret sins when I have walked in the light. Zophar, who had remained silent, broke his stillness. It may not be for you to understand the ways of the divine, Job. Divine wisdom is beyond our grasp. Yet your tears speak of hidden struggles. For even the just can falter. In that moment, an epiphany touched Job's spirit. Was his suffering indeed about punishment, or was there more at play, a lesson threaded into the very fabric of his affliction? He pondered on the nature of suffering, as a shroud of mystery descended. Amidst the darkness enveloping him, he contemplated the depths of human experience. Was it possible that his trials were not solely for God's glory or judgment, but perhaps a gateway to a more profound understanding of faith and resilience? The winds howled outside, mirroring the storm brewing within. You speak of justice, he retorted gently, but what is justice when stripped of mercy? I stand here, my life in shambles, yet still I seek his face. If I must bear these sorrows, then let them serve a purpose beyond my comprehension. Silence fell amongst the three, the weight of his words hanging in the air, thick with unasked questions. Just as they were processing the enormity of his proclamation, the skies darkened, and a distant rumble of thunder echoed beyond the horizon. They looked to one another, their hearts racing. As Job lifted his eyes to the heavens, he dared to ask, might we find strength in unanswered questions? What if the answer lies not in the relief of suffering, but in the embrace of our pain? Is it possible that in this moment of despair, the divine indeed seeks to draw us closer? The air crackled with an unresolved tension, resonating with the mysteries only the heavens could unfold. What lay in wait, beyond the veil of their understanding? What revelations awaited when judgment had been cast aside for a deeper grace? As the storm brewed overhead, casting an ominous shadow upon the land, Job's heart wrestled with a symphony of despair and unyielding hope. The rumble of thunder harmonized with his inner turmoil, a celestial reminder that even in darkness, the Almighty's presence could be felt. His friends, once constant companions, were slowly morphing into distant explorers of a terrain he could not bear to traverse alone. The echoes of past days lingered, days spent in abundance, laughter resonating from his halls, and the joy of his children flitting through the air like doves in flight. Now, with destruction swirling around him, there was a yearning for understanding, a longing for the days when laughter and joy had been an ordinary part of life. Sitting amidst ashes and sorrow, Job turned his gaze back to the heavens, searching for the voice of God amidst the turmoil. "Where are you, O Lord?" he called out, not with anger, but with an ache that clawed at the foundations of his faith. "If I were to count my sins, I would know them by heart. But what of the scars that mar my soul? What wisdom lies hidden behind this veil of suffering?" In that instant, a streak of lightning illuminated the darkness, almost answering his cry. Though it passed like a flicker, Job felt an assurance that the divine was listening, yet the answer eluded him, cloaked in wisdom too profound for human comprehension. Eliphaz, sensing the need for support, spoke again, his voice quivering with a mix of fear and empathy. "Job, in the throes of a night, the Lord may beckon us to hear his whispers. How often have we neglected the trials meant to elevate our souls? Could it be that this suffering is an invitation to uncover the depths of what it means to truly trust?" Job pushed back against the tide of despair swelling within him. "But trust at what cost? Each layer of my life, once a testimony to your goodness, has eroded. Is trust merely accepting the painful dissolution of all we hold dear? Is there merit in surrendering to this fate without the threads of understanding?" Bildad, racked by Job's turmoil, found the courage to speak once more. "Perhaps, dear friend, the scars serve as markers on our path, each wound a testimony of resilience. They teach us to navigate the valleys, showing us that true faith may require us to tread softly amidst suffering. Are we not the vessels through which God's grace flows, even in weakness?" A fleeting moment of reflection washed over Job. Could it be that the very essence of existence was tied not to the nature of his suffering, but to the strength gifted to endure it? Was there something transcendent in finding light amidst darkness? Zophar, his brow furrowed in contemplation, felt a stirring of words he had kept locked away. "What if your pain is not the end, but a doorway, Job? A threshold to realms unexplored within your spirit? The hidden secrets of our stories often emerge from the crucible. What remnants of glory might reside within our deepest wounds?" Job's heart swelled with questions. If the divine purpose sketched in the fabric of suffering held the potential for revelation, what unseen truths might he yet discover? Would the act of embracing pain serve to illuminate pathways long shrouded in shadow? As darkness enveloped the land, the air thickened with an electrifying sense of expectancy. "Perhaps," Job murmured, "the truth is that we bloom in the residue of our struggles. Are we not, at times, called to dangle on the precipice of despair to truly grasp the fullness of hope? And therein lies the greatest mystery, the gifts hidden within our ruins." With each breath, Job sensed a flicker of resolve rising within, timid yet vibrant, like the first rays of dawn breaking through the darkened skies. He questioned still, what whispers of truth might emerge from the depths of his anguish? And could these revelations change the course of his journey, leading not away from his trials but deeper into the profound embrace of faith? As the storm raged on, casting shadows across the desolate landscape, Job sat in silence. The weight of his thoughts pressed upon him as heavily as the dark clouds above. The words shared with his friends reverberated through his mind, urging him to delve deeper into the enigma of his suffering. Yet, the answers remained elusive, like grains of sand slipping through his fingers. That in this silence, he felt a stirring within his spirit, as if something yet to be revealed awaited him beneath the surface of his grief. What if there is more to this misery than I perceive? He pondered aloud. Could the trials I face, the depths of my anguish, carry within them a purpose I have yet to understand? His friends, sensing the shift in his demeanor, drew closer. Eliphaz, with his weary heart, spoke softly, "Job, what if we are all blind to the greater plan? What if this crucible is not solely for your purification, but for all who witness your plight? Could it be that through your pain, wisdom will flow to countless others like a stream of life-giving water in a parched land?" Job shifted uncomfortably. "But what of my heart? What of my soul torn asunder? Can the weight of such suffering truly serve a greater good? Are my cries not just echoes of despair? Can one man's grief transcend the personal and become a beacon for others?" Bildad looked skyward as if seeking guidance from the heavens. The book of our lives is seldom a simple narrative. Each chapter is woven with threads of joy, sorrow, confusion, and clarity. Perhaps your agony is the prelude to a revelation far beyond our understanding, a glimpse into the essence of what it means to endure, to persevere, despite the shadows that cling. What if, hidden in your trials, lies the seed of redemption for us all? This thought took root in Job's mind, sowing a quiet seed of hope amidst the desolation. Could the very essence of suffering reveal facets of the divine that remain obscured in times of ease? Is it not in our vulnerability that we often touch the sublime? What if I am meant to embrace this suffering, not merely for myself, but as a conduit of divine grace? Zophar, eager to provide comfort, responded with intensity, "Indeed. Think of the untold stories that rise from the ashes of despair. Histories of men and women who have walked through the fire and emerged with tales of resilience. Your suffering need not only bear your name, but become a testament to the strength found through reliance on God." A flicker of resolve ignited within Job. Perhaps there was merit to their musings. Could it be that his anguish was a tool of transformation, not only within him but for all who bore witness? This burden he carried, so heavy, might indeed serve as a vessel for life's wisdom. What changes would unfold in the hearts of those who watch if they could see me embrace my pain, trusting wholly in the Lord? He wondered, yet, as these revelations unfurled before him, a burning question lingered unspoken: if suffering could be a path to profound understanding, what, then, was the nature of the God who allowed this? Was he truly benevolent? Would Job's faith endure through the layers of sorrow and doubt, woven into the very fabric of his existence? The storm began to retreat, its thunder fading into whispers, yet Job remained surrounded by an air thick with questions. In seeking the hidden truth within his turmoil, he grappled with the mystery of existence. Would the great tapestry of his life weave together moments of despair with threads of divine purpose? And if so, what might lie in wait on the other side of his darkest hour, just beyond the horizon of his understanding? As dawn broke over the horizon, a muted light enveloped Job and his friends. The remnants of the storm clung to the air, mingling with the scent of damp earth and new beginnings. Job, though still heavy-hearted, felt a flicker of determination rising within him. He turned to his friends, who sat in quiet contemplation. "Eliphaz," Job said, his voice steady yet soft, "your words stirred within me a yearning to understand my place in this great mystery. If my suffering can serve a purpose, what then is my role in this unfolding story? Am I merely a pawn, or can I align my will with the divine?" Eliphaz met his gaze, his brow furrowed as he considered how to respond. "Perhaps, Job, you are both. A pawn in the grand design, yet also a participant in the shaping of your story. God has given us free will, allowing us to respond to our circumstances, even in the depths of despair. What you choose to do with your pain can transform it from mere suffering into a testament of faith, indeed, added Bildad, encouraged by Eliphaz's insight. In the ancient texts, we find countless individuals who have faced trials. Their cries became prayers, their despair a catalyst for action. There lies strength in your struggle, Job. Do not let your spirit be crushed beneath the weight of doubt. Instead, let it rise, a phoenix from the ashes, Zophar, whose impatience often yielded hasty conclusions, interjected with fervor. Your agony will not go unnoticed by heaven. It can echo through generations, even across uncharted paths. What if, Job, this is a moment not just for you to reclaim your life, but for all of us to learn what it means to trust beyond our understanding? Job closed his eyes, allowing their words to permeate the turmoil within him. He grapples with visions of a greater communion, yet the shadows of doubt kept circling. Can trust really take root in a heart that feels so abandoned? If this suffering is a divine test, what of the others who linger in despair and never receive revelation? Are they too part of this larger narrative? The air grew heavy with questions, each unasked hanging like dark clouds overhead. Job felt a yearning to unravel these mysteries, to glimpse the design of his trials. Are we but fragments of a divine puzzle? Each piece integral yet unaware of the full picture. How do I fit within this? And if my pain is intertwined with the stories of others, what message are we meant to convey together? As they pondered, the sun's rays broke through the clouds, casting gentle light upon the ground. In this illumination, Job felt an almost tangible presence. It brought a deeper resonance to his pondering, as if the ground beneath him understood his plight, cradling both his grief and his burgeoning hope. Could it be, he murmured, that this very moment serves as a bridge? A connection between our individual sufferings and the collective human experience? How many hearts are stirred by the tremors of my anguish? How many stand beside me, each carrying their own silent battles? We may not see them, but their weight too is real. His friends remained silent, each man sinking into his thoughts. In this shared reflection, Job sensed that perhaps a new understanding was emerging, not solely regarding the interconnectedness of pain, but about the essence of resilience in faith. Yet, with this revelation, a question loomed. Would this unfolding wisdom be enough to guide him through the darkest corners of his soul? Was it possible that the insight gleaned from his suffering could illuminate even the furthest reaches of despair for all humanity? And if so, what awaited him on the other side of this transformative journey? As the sun climbed higher, illuminating the landscape with a golden hue, a deeper silence enveloped the group. The air seemed charged with an unspoken energy, a stillness that invited reflection. Job opened his eyes, his heart keenly aware that answers, if they were to come, awaited not merely in words but in the quiet spaces between them. Tell me, Job urged softly, turning to his friends once more. Have we forgotten the stories of the ancients? Those who endured hardship yet emerged with wisdom as profound as the depths of the sea. What tales did they carry, and did they, too, wrestle with the shadows amidst their light? Eliphaz leaned in, his eyes sparkling with the embers of remembrance. There was a sage, a man of great wisdom named Solomon. He, too, struggled with the broader questions of meaning amidst the vanity of life. He wrote, "To everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven." Perhaps this season of suffering serves to awaken something within you, a call to seek the truth in every fleeting moment. Yes, Bildad chimed in, and consider the prophet Jeremiah. His lamentations, born from profound sorrow, became a voice for an entire nation in turmoil. Despite despair, he breathed hope, crying out to the Lord. His words remind us that grief need not silence us, it can ignite a fervent yearning for redemption, drawing others to our shared plight. Job felt a stir within. Ah, then we are not alone. Our stories intertwine with those before us, each life a thread weaving into the vast tapestry of existence. Yet, the questions remain: what if the answers we seek lie hidden in those very laments and not just in their resolutions? Do such moments call us deeper, not merely to soothe our pain but to understand it? As if responding to his query, a gentle wind rustled the foliage, carrying with it the scent of blooming jasmine and earth reborn after the storm. There was a sacredness in the air, an understanding that pain could carry profound wisdom if one dared to listen intently. Job closed his eyes again, allowing the whispers of the breeze to mingle with his thoughts. Zophar, eager yet contemplative, leaned forward. What if, Job, the path to understanding is less about unraveling the mysteries of divine fate and more about embracing the vulnerabilities we wear? What if, like the talents entrusted to us, our sufferings are not solely for our growth but meant to inspire compassion, creating a legacy as a beacon to those who traverse similar valleys of despair? With a spark of realization igniting in his heart, Job spoke, yes. Perhaps our pain reverberates across the ages. Perhaps it carves out pathways for others, lighting a way through the darkness with the glow of shared experience. Yet, what then, dear friends, if we come to understand that every soul carries this weight, each individual a story wrapped in the universe of suffering? The four companions were absorbed in thought, the implications of Job's musings sinking deep within their hearts. The connection between their present suffering and the collective history of humanity felt profound, heavy with significance. At that moment, a faint sound caught Job's attention, like the calling of a distant bird. It struck him as a timeless echo, a reminder that life continued to flow beyond their present circumstances. In the distance, the hills rose majestically, as if challenging them to seek the horizon, to imagine that beyond their struggles lay a vast expanse teeming with life and possibility. Do we dare to venture forth? Job asked quietly, the tentative hope growing stronger within him. To explore not just the depths of our affliction but also the heights of faith, reaching toward understanding that may elude us still. As his words lingered in the air, the question hung unresolved, leaving echoes of uncertainty and potential. If suffering held keys to unlock the doors of connection, what further secrets remained hidden in Job's journey? How would he seize those insights to bridge the divide between his anguish and the larger human tapestry? And if he could grasp even a fraction of that hidden truth, what would it unveil about the very essence of life itself? As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the ground, the atmosphere around Job and his friends morphed into something both solemn and sacred. The weight of their conversation hung heavily, tempered by the growing dusk. Each was lost in thought, grappling with the weight of existence and the profound intertwined stories of suffering and resilience. There is an old tale, Eliphaz finally spoke, his voice quieter now, as if savoring the gravity of his thoughts. It is said that when the universe was formed, the Creator wove a thread of divinity into the fabric of every life. This thread, invisible yet powerful, connects all hearts through trials and tribulations. It is the suffering that reveals the strength of the thread, binding us closer. Job leaned closer, intrigued. Do you mean to say that perhaps my own suffering is part of a greater design? That the unraveling of my spirit could lead to the stitching together of others' wounds? Precisely, Bildad agreed, his brow furrowed in contemplation. The threads may pull tight at times, causing pain as they intersect, but they also weave a pattern of communal strength. The deeper we feel our grief, the more we open ourselves to empathy. Our lives become mirrors reflecting others' sorrows, inviting them into a shared understanding. That a tapestry indeed, Zophar mused, but what if the master weaver remains silent, leaving us to seek meaning in our pain alone? Doesn't it seem unjust that we must endure such trials without clear guidance? Are we not entitled to cry out for answers in our darkest hours? In that moment, a cloud drifted before the sun, dimming its glow. Job felt that familiar ache of isolation stir anew, the unsettling thought that perhaps they were wandering through a vast, silent expanse of unanswered questions, burdened by the ignorance of a divine purpose. And yet, as he looked to the horizon where the sun met the earth, silhouetting the distant hills, a thought began to form. But what if, Job pondered aloud, the silence we perceive is not absence, but a different language? A language that speaks in the strength of endurance rather than a clear voice of explanation. Perhaps the absence of dialogue leads us to seek deeper truths within ourselves and those around us. A newfound resolve seemed to stir within the group, binding them momentarily in unity despite their fears. The shadows of doubt receded, revealing a flicker of understanding that the essence of their struggles might indeed lie in their capacity to endure together, to rise through adversity, seeking significance in shared experience. Eliphaz ruminated, and in this shared journey, perhaps our fleeting moments of grace, the brief joys, the spark of laughter amidst sorrow hold the keys to a greater narrative. Each revelation might stand as a beacon, guiding us toward collective healing. As the sun dipped lower still, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. Job felt a shift within his own heart, a movement from sheer despair toward the fragility of hope. Yet beneath it all lay a lingering disquiet. But tell me, companions, if our sufferings serve a vital purpose, what then? Why are we kept so far from clarity? Do we wander these valleys of desolation simply to traverse our lives mindfully, or is there something more? In the twilight's embrace, the question lingered like the twilight itself, unresolved and haunting, swirling with the promise of deeper exploration. What profound truths lay in the darkness yet unexplored? And how might their journeys, yours and theirs, untangle the threads of pain, revealing the broader vista of purpose behind the veil of sorrow? As the last light of day surrendered to the night, a hush enveloped Job and his friends, the air thick with unanswered inquiries. Each man's gaze was fixed on the starry expanse that unfurled above them, as if the heavens themselves held secrets yet to be unveiled. The constellations glimmered like tiny fragments of a greater design, inviting them to ponder what lay beyond their earthly suffering. Each star, Job mused aloud, stands as a testament to light emerging from darkness. They were ignited far away and have traveled long distances to be seen by our very eyes. In their glow is a reminder that sometimes, true understanding requires to me a journey that might not immediately illuminate our path. That is a powerful reflection, Bildad replied, tracing the outlines of Orion with his finger. Yet, it begs the question, how do the trials we endure here on earth relate to the cosmic tapestry above us? Are the stars mere observers of our suffering, or do they provide guidance for our trials? Eliphaz leaned back against a stone, contemplative. Perhaps, Bildad, they are both. We are not isolated in our pain, instead, the heavens are witnesses, revealing that our stories are part of something grander. Our struggles might resonate even in the silence of stars, echoing their own ancient tales of creation, destruction, and rebirth, but the silence, Zophar interjected with a note of frustration, it still stings. Why must we face these trials without clarity? Is it not natural to desire understanding, especially when we feel forsaken? Could we not be given glimpses of the divine purpose behind our trials? Job, feeling the weight of Zophar's words, remembered the seasons of rain and drought that governed the earth. Just as the farmer plants seeds in hope, believing that with time and care they will yield a harvest, should we not also cultivate a patience for answers? Yet, like the farmer, how do we know when to toil on, when to wait, and how to find joy amidst uncertainty? The night deepened, and the group fell silent, each soul wrestling with the paradox of suffering and hope. Then, from the dim recesses of the darkness, a whisper stirred among them, a flicker of a thought. What of the hidden stories that lay beneath the surface of their lives? The conversations unspoken, the dreams delayed, the griefs unprocessed? Perhaps, Job said, it is in acknowledging these hidden stories, both in ourselves and in one another, that we may begin to weave a tapestry of understanding. What if the truths we seek are buried under layers of silence, waiting for the courage to unfurl them? A gentle breeze wafted through the air, carrying with it the scent of wildflowers that blossomed unnoticed nearby. It seemed a quiet acknowledgement that beauty could arise even from the harshest circumstances. But the realization weighed heavily on Job's heart. But what of the hidden truths? Are they revealing a path toward understanding, or do they only serve to deepen our anguish as we confront the frailty of our human existence? And in uncovering these truths, do we risk unraveling the very fabric of our lives? As the stars pulsed above, reflecting the flickering unease in their hearts, the question loomed large, suspended in the air around them. Could the act of digging deeper into their own narratives illuminate their collective suffering? And would they find that within those hidden stories lay not just despair, but also seeds of profound hope, a hope that perhaps they had yet to discover? As the night stretched onward, its shadows intertwined with the men's thoughts, a flicker of urgency sparked in Job's heart. A sense of connection loomed silently between them, a bond forged through shared anguish, yet veiled by their individual struggles. In the cosmic drift above, he saw not merely stars, but guardians of old, each one holding whispers of insight if he dared to listen closely enough. Friends, Job spoke with newfound determination, the essence of our suffering runs deeper than mere occurrences. It is the unseen scars, the hidden longings and fears, that often paint our portrait with more clarity than the surface of our lives. Might we dare to uncover these buried layers together? Bildad leaned forward, curiosity etched in his brow. "What do you propose, Job? Are we to delve into personal wounds in the hopes of finding clarity? Will it not be but a dive into the depths of despair, rather than a journey to understanding?" "Perhaps," Job replied softly, "yet sometimes it is in the brave unveiling of our truths that we encounter the divine. I speak not only of our misfortunes but of our hopes deferred and aspirations crushed. Each heart carries an unseen burden that might echo the trials of the universe and weave us into a greater narrative. What if it is precisely here, in our vulnerability, that we grasp the threads of grace?" Zophar, though contemplative, wore a frown as he said, "It feels perilous, Job. There lie demons in our pasts that could rise with mere mention, threatening the very essence of our well-being. How can we, in our frailty, afford to face such shadows?" Eliphaz, his eyes reflecting the starlight, countered gently, "But what if those shadows are not demons at all, but rather aspects of ourselves longing for acknowledgement? Understanding can only flourish when we invite the light into our darkest corners. Is it not an acceptance that we might unearth strength we never believed we possessed?" As the discourse unfolded, each friend hesitated to peer too deeply. But Job felt the urgency of the moment, an invitation woven by fate itself. "Let us share, then, our stories, our struggles, those moments that haunt us or slip between the cracks of our lives. We may find in this sacred space not just the pain we carry, but also the resilience that binds us. So the men began to share, one by one, their voices a mere tremor beneath the cosmic serenade. Bildad, with trembling hands, described the heartache of his children who had wandered from the path, leaving him to grapple with grief that had no resolution. Eliphaz spoke of a time when despair had clouded his spirit, making him question his faith entirely. Zophar, masking his vulnerability behind a sharp tongue, revealed a feeling of inadequacy, a burden to achieve, lest he be unworthy of love. As they spoke, the air thickened with the weight of their confessions, a tapestry of tears and tales unfurling before the stars above. It was then that Job realized a profound shift had begun. They were not alone in their afflictions but were part of a collective human experience, a connection woven in the threads of their shared vulnerability. But as dawn began to whisper on the horizon, a haunting realization settled on Job's heart. In the act of revealing our truths, he pondered aloud, do we risk exposing vulnerabilities that were better left hidden? Can this shared intimacy truly heal us, or will it only lay bare the wounds we thought might scab over with time? As the first light of morning began to grace the landscape, illuminating the remnants of their night-long vigil, another question loomed on the horizon. Could their deeply intertwined stories harvest blossoms of understanding and redemption, or would the act of digging deeper only unearth further anguish buried within their souls? As the dawn broke over the horizon, illuminating the somber landscape with hues of gold and amber, Job felt a surge of determination rising within him. He had weathered the storm of despair, stood firm amidst the shadows of doubt, and now, in the soft kiss of morning light, clarity began to weave its way through the fragments of his shattered spirit. "Friends," Job began, his voice steady but laced with emotion, "our night of sharing has opened a portal to understanding that I had not dared to envision. I see now that our stories, entwined through sorrow and strife, reveal not just the pain we bear but the strength we possess when we face it together. What if we dared to view our struggles as sacred invitations, each moment of suffering a call to rise, to embrace, and to transform?" Eliphaz, his eyes glistening with newfound understanding, nodded fervently. "Indeed, Job. In recognizing our vulnerabilities, we unearth the remarkable resilience woven into the very fabric of our being. Might we not step forward with a deeper faith, not for answers that satisfy our minds, but for a trust that soothes our souls?" Bildad, whose heart had been laid bare that night, joined in, and within this embrace of vulnerability lies a profound lesson. As we reveal ourselves, we cultivate compassion not merely for one another but also for ourselves. We become bearers of light, illuminating the way for other souls wandering through the shadows. Zophar, whose spirit had often waged war against self-doubt, felt a stirring within. "Then let us become conduits of grace. Our pain, when shared with authenticity, transforms into power and unyielding force that can inspire those grappling with their own suffering. If we can harness this, we shall not only fortify our bond but also serve as beacons of hope." Job's heart swelled with fervor, and he felt the light circulating among them, a pulsating energy born of shared wounds and triumphs. Yes. Let our testimonies become bridges to understanding, not just for ourselves but for all who traverse this path of life. If our suffering has the potential to illuminate even a sliver of hope within another, then we have not faced these trials in vain. The sun's rays climbed higher, casting a warm glow over the gathered men. In this sacred moment, they could feel the weight of their stories turning from mere chronicles of grief into an anthem of resilience. Each shared experience became a thread of the tapestry they were weaving, a tapestry that echoed beyond the moment, reaching into the hearts of those who stood upon the precipice of despair. For too long, Job proclaimed with renewed vigor, we have allowed shame and silence to shackle our voices. No longer shall we linger in darkness, questioning the nature of suffering without recognizing its remarkable potential to cultivate growth. Let us proclaim that our pain is not our destination but rather a stepping stone toward a deeper understanding of love, compassion, and kinship. As if answering Job's call, a gentle breeze swept through the air, carrying with it the fragrance of blossoms awakening to the dawn. Nearby, a small bird took flight, soaring into the sky, a symbol of freedom and transcendence. The sight ignited an ember of hope within Job and his companions, a reminder that life, even during its harshest trials, can spring forth with beauty and purpose. In that moment, a stillness enveloped them, one that was rich with potential and unspoken truths. Each man felt the power of the collective, an invisible force lifting them higher as they drew strength from one another. Job looked into the eyes of his friends, feeling every heartbeat resonating with a shared understanding that transcended their individual grief. Come, let us rise from this place, Job said, his voice imbued with positivity. Let us journey forth as bearers of hope and compassion. Let our stories intertwine not only as a testament of endurance but as a testimony of the divine's presence in our lives, woven through every adversity. We shall embrace our trials, transforming them into gifts that we share with the world. Illuminating paths where shadows have lingered for far too long. As the sun continued to rise, casting its golden rays across the land, Job and his friends stood, united in purpose. They walked forward into the embrace of a new day, each step echoing with resilience and love, their stories now intertwined in a tapestry that would stretch far into the lives of others. And as they looked toward the horizon, the promise of each new dawn shimmered like stars yet unseen, beckoning them ever onward. With spirits renewed and hearts aflame, they knew that their journey was not over. It was just the beginning of a greater revelation, one that would resonate across time, inspiring faith in the face of adversity. In the silence of their hearts, their souls echoed a profound truth. Sometimes it is through suffering that we uncover the jewels of wisdom hidden in the depths of our being, transforming pain into purpose and igniting hope in the darkest of nights. Their story would not end here, for every life touched would ripple through the fabric of existence, a testament to courage, grace, and the unbreakable bond forged in trials endured together. In the depths of despair lies the power to awaken the soul, an extraordinary revelation waiting to be born anew.